Now, you know that InDesign comes with certain swatches already built in the swatch panel, which pretty much all of them here are the default ones except for, okay, so I got rid of the two that I made. So these are all the default swatches that you can use. Without having to make any other swatches up, you can use these. And these are basically your, primary colors, more or less. I'm gonna make a shape here, and I kind of mistakenly have a stroke applied to it, but I want it to be one of these colors. I want it to be a pink. I want to use the magenta, but I don't want it to be that bright. So what I can do is I can create what we call a tint. And a tint is basically just, it's a way to think of it as a lighter shade of the color, whatever swatch I want to make a tint from. Now I can make this tint, or make this a lighter shade of pink, a couple of ways. Well, first I have a pink, I have this magenta stroke, which is not what I want. I want the object to be pink. So I'm going to give it, the magenta fill first. Alright, so that's one way of filling it, but if I wanted a lighter shade, all I need to do is click on it, and then you see that the magenta swatch is selected. And up here in the swatches panel at the top, you see tint. And I can click that and slide that around, and you'll see now my rectangle has turned to a much lower, lighter color of pink. So that's an easy way to do it. But if you have a tint that you of a certain color swatch that you think you might want to use over and over, this is good for a one-time deal, but you don't want to have to remember the percentages every time of what percentage tint you used. So there's another way to do this. To sort of record that, you really want to build a swatch of that tint. And the way you can do that is to go have your color selected that you want to use, go up and click your options panel, your panel options drop down, and pick new tint swatch. And now the cool thing is, because I've already found a tint that I like, it already picks it. It already has it in here. But I'm going to cancel that, and I'm going to undo this tint right here. So now I'm back to my original magenta, and then I'm going to go to new tint swatch, and it's back up to 100%. And this is where I can now drag it to whatever color I want in this tint swatch. And all I have to do is click Add and say Done. And now that swatch appears in my swatches panel. So now if I draw another object, so I'm going to draw, let's draw a circle this time, an oval. If I want to apply that swatch to it, I now can. Alright, so that's an easy way to do tints. Now I'm going to show you why you might want to do that next. You can use tints to your advantage when you are being regulated to having only one color. For example, let's say you have a client who needs a poster or a flyer built or designed and printed, but they want to hold down costs. So they're telling you can only use one color in the flyer or the poster, and you think, oh my gosh, that is going to be so boring. But there's actually a way to do it using tints and only using one color. So our example here, the summer sale poster, it looks really cool. We like the pink and the yellow, but our client says, no, I gotta have just our company blue. And we're going to pretend it's the default blue. So what we can do is we can use that blue. We can use that to color our text. So that's what I'm going to do right here. So now our text is that blue. But what about all the rest of us? If I make this outside of this star blue and the inside blue and the text blue, it you won't see anything. It'll all be the same color. So what do? We create different tints to go with our original color, in this case the CMYK blue. To do this, you simply need to have everything unselected and then select your color over here in the swatch panel and use your drop down and say new tint swatch. Now let's do various tints, and don't worry about this part up here. It's going to look weird all the time and you're not going to be able to change any of it. But what you do is you use this tint slider down here. So let's say we're going to do one at about 70% tint. You can actually type in there if you want. And then we're going to click the add button. And that all that did was it added that tint to our swatches panel. But we want another one, so we're going to do it at 50%. And say add. And then we're going to say done. Now, you can see what happened was my tints got added. Now they're way down here at the bottom. So what I'm going to do is I am going to drag them up so that they are by the original blue, which is right here. So now I have my three colors, my original color and my two tints right here. Now to use those tints, all I'm going to do is I'm going to select different parts of this image. I'm going to select the outer star, and I'm going to give it, I think, the medium blue blue tint I created. And then I'm going to select the interior star, which is the yellow star, and I'm going to give it the lightest blue tint that I created. And then I'm going to go in and I'm going to select my text, and I'm going to give it the original blue. Now you can see I've got a little bit of a gradient. I'm not really sure why, just a leftover for something else I did. But in any case, you can see I used one color on this, but the original color and two different tints to come up with a very unique and original design that's got some, variety to it, but it's not going to cost my client any more money, or as much money as if they had gotten a 4-color print.